Dr. Sarah Chen sat alone in her laboratory at 2:47 a.m. The only sound was the quiet hum of her quantum computer. Outside, the city of Boston slept. But Sarah could not sleep. Not after what she had seen. For 3 weeks, her experiments had shown strange results. Today, the results were impossible. She stared at the screen. The numbers made no sense. Particle 7 alpha was appearing in 2 different places at the same time. This was normal in quantum physics. But something was wrong. The particle was not behaving randomly. It was behaving like it knew she was watching. Sarah ran the test again. Same result. Again. Same result. 7 times she tested. 7 times the same impossible pattern appeared. Her coffee cup began to shake. She had not touched it. The liquid inside created small waves. The desk was vibrating. But there was no earthquake. No trucks passing outside. The vibration came from somewhere else. Somewhere she could not explain. Sarah stood up quickly. Her heart was racing. She walked to the window and looked out at the sleeping city. Everything seemed normal. But nothing felt normal. Something fundamental had changed. She just did not know what yet. She returned to her computer and typed a new command. This time she scanned all the particles in her lab. Not just one. All of them. Thousands of quantum particles. The computer processed the data. What she saw made her blood run cold. Every single particle was moving in perfect patterns. They moved in tiny, discrete steps. Like pixels on a computer screen. Like characters in a video game. The movement was too perfect. Too organized. Nature was not this precise. Nature was random. Chaotic. Beautiful in its disorder. This was different. This was programmed. The laboratory door opened with a loud bang. Sarah jumped and turned around. Dr. James Rodriguez stood in the doorway. His face was pale. His eyes were wide. His hands were shaking. "Sarah," he said. His voice was barely a whisper. "I need you to see something. Right now." James was her colleague. A computer scientist. Usually calm. Always logical. She had never seen him look afraid before. But he was afraid now. "James, I need to show you something first," Sarah began. "No," James interrupted. "Mine is more important. Please, come with me." Sarah followed him down the empty hallway. Their footsteps echoed off the walls. They reached James's laboratory. He opened the door and pointed at his computer screen. "Look," he said. Sarah looked. The screen showed the same particle patterns she had found. The same perfect, discrete movements. But there was something else. Something hidden in the data. James had found it using special filters. He had enhanced the quantum noise. The random static that existed between particles. Except it was not random. Hidden in the noise was a pattern. A sequence of numbers. Binary code. Ones and zeros. The foundation of all computer programming. "Did you put this here?" Sarah asked. "Is this some kind of test?" James shook his head. "I thought you did. But look at the timestamp. This code has existed since we started the experiment. We did not put it there. It was already there. Waiting. Hidden in the fabric of reality itself." Sarah felt dizzy. She grabbed the desk to steady herself. "What does it say?" she asked. James pressed a button. The computer translated the binary code into English. 3 words appeared on the screen. 3 words that changed everything. "You are simulation." The room was silent. Sarah and James stared at the message. Minutes passed. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them could speak. Finally, Sarah found her voice. "This is a mistake. It has to be. Equipment malfunction. Corrupted data. Something." "I checked," James said quietly. "I ran the test 47 times. The message is always there. Always the same. Always hidden in the quantum noise." Sarah walked closer to the screen. She touched it with her finger. The words were still there. Real. Solid. Undeniable. "If this is true," she whispered, "then everything we know is wrong. Physics. Reality. Existence. All of it. We are not living in a natural universe. We are living in something created. Something artificial." James nodded. "A simulation. Like a computer program. And someone just sent us a message. Someone outside. Someone who created us." Sarah turned to face him. Despite her fear, she felt something else growing inside her. Something powerful. Determination. "We need to assemble a team," she said. Her voice was stronger now. "We need to prove this. We need to find out who sent this message. And we need to find out why." James smiled for the first time that night. "I was hoping you would say that." They did not know it yet, but they had just made the most important discovery in human history. And that discovery would change everything. For everyone. Forever. The experiment had begun. 3 days had passed since the discovery. Sarah had not slept properly. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw those 3 words. You are simulation. She stood in the main laboratory now. It was no longer just her and James. They had assembled a team. 3 other scientists who could be trusted. People who would not call them crazy. People who would help them find the truth. Dr. Yuki Tanaka sat at the computer station. She was a mathematician from Tokyo. An expert in pattern recognition. Her fingers flew across the keyboard as she analyzed the data. She had been working for 16 hours straight. This is incredible, Yuki said without looking up. The binary code is not just a message. It is everywhere. In every quantum particle. In every atom. Reality itself is written in computer code. Beside her stood Dr. Marcus Webb. He was not a scientist. He was a general in the United States military. The government had sent him after Sarah reported her discovery to the authorities. At first, Sarah thought he would shut down their research. But Marcus wanted answers too. How is this possible? Marcus asked. If we are in a simulation, who created it? And why? That is what we are trying to find out, James replied. He was setting up a new experiment. Larger than before. More powerful. If reality is programmed, then it must follow rules. Computer rules. We need to find those rules. Sarah walked to the main screen. It displayed their latest findings. The evidence was overwhelming. Reality was not natural. It was artificial. Created. Designed. Look at quantum mechanics, Sarah explained to Marcus. Particles only exist in specific places when we observe them. Before that, they exist in all places at once. Why? Because the simulation does not load them until we look. It saves processing power. Like a video game, Marcus said slowly. The game only renders what the player can see. Exactly, Sarah confirmed. And there is more. The speed of light is not random. It is exactly the speed needed to prevent us from seeing the edges of the simulation. Space has a minimum size called the Planck length. Why? Because that is the simulation's resolution. Its pixel size. Yuki suddenly stood up. Her face was pale. I found something, she said. Her voice was shaking. Something bad. Everyone gathered around her computer. The screen showed a new sequence. More binary code. But this code was different. It was not a message. It was a timer. What is that? James asked. A countdown, Yuki whispered. The simulation has an end date. A shutdown sequence. It has been running for 13.8 billion years. The exact age of our universe. But it will not run forever. Sarah felt her heart stop. How long do we have? Yuki looked at her. Tears were forming in her eyes. 27 days. In 27 days the simulation ends. Everything ends. Everyone. All of humanity. All of history. Gone. The room was silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The weight of those words crushed them all. Marcus was the first to speak. Can we stop it? I do not know, Sarah said honestly. But we have to try. We need to find a way to communicate with whoever created this simulation. We need to ask them why. And we need to convince them not to shut us down. James pointed at another screen. There is something else. I found more code. Hidden deeper than the message. It shows that we are not the first. What do you mean? Sarah asked. Other simulations, James explained. 47 of them. All ended the same way. Terminated. Deleted. We are simulation number 48. Yuki pulled up the data. Each simulation ran for different lengths of time. Some for millions of years. Some for only thousands. But all of them ended. All of them were deleted. Why? Marcus demanded. What is the purpose? I think they are testing something, Sarah said. She had been thinking about this for hours. Testing different versions of life. Different versions of intelligence. We are an experiment. And when the experiment is over, they delete us and start a new one. Then we need to prove we are worth keeping, James said firmly. We need to show them that humanity deserves to continue. That we are different from the other 47 simulations. Sarah nodded. But inside she was terrified. How could they prove their worth to beings so advanced they could create entire universes? How could they even communicate with such beings? Suddenly all the screens in the laboratory flickered. The lights dimmed. The computers went dark for 3 seconds. Then everything came back on. But something had changed. A new message appeared on every screen. Every monitor. Every display in the room. The same words on all of them. We are watching. You have 24 days. Impress US. The message disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. But its meaning was clear. The creators knew about their discovery. The creators were testing them. And the countdown had just accelerated. Sarah looked at her team. Fear was in everyone's eyes. But determination too. They had 24 days to save humanity. 24 days to prove they deserved to exist. The real experiment had just begun. Day 17. 7 days had passed since the message. Sarah stood at the laboratory window watching the sunrise. Except the sunrise looked wrong. The colors were too bright. Too perfect. Like a painting instead of reality. She rubbed her eyes. She was exhausted. The team had been working non-stop. They had made progress. But not enough. They still had no way to communicate with the creators. No way to prove humanity's worth. Behind her, James was sleeping at his desk. Yuki was still typing. The woman never seemed to stop. Marcus had left hours ago to report to the Pentagon. The military wanted daily updates. They wanted solutions. Sarah did not have solutions. She only had more questions. Sarah, look at this. Yuki's voice cut through the silence. Sarah walked over. The screen showed a map of the world. Red dots were appearing across it. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Each dot represented an anomaly. A glitch in reality. What am I looking at? Sarah asked. Reality breaking down, Yuki replied. These are places where the simulation is failing. Where the code is corrupting. Small things at first. A building that flickers. A person who freezes for a second. But it is getting worse. Sarah felt ice in her stomach. Why is this happening? I think we caused it, Yuki said quietly. By discovering the truth. By observing the code. We are like a virus in the system. The more we learn, the more unstable everything becomes. James woke up suddenly. What is happening? He looked at the screen. His face went pale. Oh no. There is more, Yuki continued. She pulled up another window. People are disappearing. Not dying. Disappearing. Erased from existence. Look. She showed them a news report from London. A scientist named Dr. Patricia Holmes had been researching quantum anomalies. She had published a paper suggesting reality might be artificial. 3 days ago she vanished. Not just vanished. No one remembered her. Her house was empty. Her papers were gone. Her university had no record of her employment. She had been deleted from the simulation. It is not just her, Yuki said. She pulled up more reports. A physicist in Mumbai. A mathematician in Berlin. A programmer in Tokyo. All researching the same thing. All disappeared. All erased completely. Sarah felt sick. The creators are deleting anyone who gets too close to the truth. Then why are we still here? James asked. We discovered the message. We know everything. Why have they not deleted us? Because we are the experiment, Sarah realized. The other scientists stumbled onto the truth by accident. But we were shown the message deliberately. The creators want to see what we do with this knowledge. They are testing us. Marcus burst through the door. His uniform was disheveled. His eyes were wild. We have a problem. A big problem. What now? Sarah asked. The Pentagon ran their own experiments, Marcus said. They tried to breach the simulation. They built a quantum device in an underground bunker. Tried to hack into the base code. 4 hours ago the bunker disappeared. 300 people. Gone. The bunker, the mountain it was under, everything. Just empty space now. Dear God, James whispered. It gets worse, Marcus continued. Other governments are trying the same thing. Russia. China. They all want to control the simulation. They all think they can hack it. They are going to destroy everything. Sarah's mind raced. They were running out of time. The simulation was collapsing. The creators were deleting people. And human stupidity was making everything worse. We need to send a message, Sarah said firmly. Not a request. Not a plea. A message that proves we understand. That proves we are worth saving. How? Yuki asked. Sarah thought for a moment. Then she remembered something. Black holes. James had theorized they were error handlers in the simulation. Places where reality crashed and restarted. If they could reach a black hole, they could send a signal outside the simulation. We build a transmitter, Sarah said. A quantum transmitter powerful enough to reach Sagittarius A star. The supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. We send one message through it. One question. What question? Marcus asked. Sarah looked at each of them. We asked them why. Why create us? Why delete us? Why run this experiment 48 times? If we understand their purpose, maybe we can fulfill it. Maybe we can prove we deserve to exist. James stood up. Despite his exhaustion, energy returned to his voice. It will take everything we have. All our resources. All our time. We might fail. We will fail if we do nothing, Sarah replied. We have 17 days. Let us use them. Yuki nodded. I will design the transmitter. I will get you whatever you need, Marcus added. The military will help. They got to work. None of them noticed the camera in the corner of the room. None of them saw the red light that had just turned on. The creators were watching, recording, analyzing. And somewhere beyond reality, in a place humans could not imagine, the creators discussed what they had seen. The decision had already been made. But they wanted to see if humanity would surprise them. 47 species had failed this test. All of them had tried to fight, to escape, to bargain for their existence. Humanity was doing something different. They were trying to understand. Perhaps the creators thought this species would be different after all. Day 23. One day remained. The laboratory looked like a war zone. Cables everywhere. Computers overheating. Equipment pushed beyond its limits. The team had worked without stopping, without sleeping, without hope of rest. The quantum transmitter was finally ready. Sarah stood before the massive device. It filled the entire room. Thousands of quantum processors working together, all focused on one goal. Send a message through Sagittarius A star. Send a message beyond reality itself. Are we sure this will work? James asked. His voice was hoarse from exhaustion. No, Yuki answered honestly. The mathematics suggest it is possible. But we have never tested it. We cannot test it. We only get one chance. Marcus entered carrying tablets. I have reports from around the world. The glitches are accelerating. Entire cities are flickering now. People are seeing through walls. Seeing the void behind reality. There are riots everywhere. People know something is wrong. Then we have no choice, Sarah said. We send the message now. She had spent days writing it. 1,000 words compressed into quantum data. 1,000 words to explain humanity. To defend their existence. To ask the simple question, why? But now, standing before the transmitter, she felt doubt. What if the creators did not care? What if they saw humans as nothing more than code? As experiments to be terminated and forgotten? Sarah. James put his hand on her shoulder. Whatever happens, we tried. That means something. Sarah nodded. She approached the control panel. Her finger hovered over the activation button. One press. That was all it took. One press to send humanity's message into the unknown. She pressed it. The transmitter hummed to life. The room filled with blue light. Energy crackled through the air. Every screen showed the same thing. Quantum data streaming toward the center of the galaxy. Toward the black hole. Toward whatever existed beyond. For 3 minutes nothing happened. The message traveled at the speed of light. 26,000 light-years to the galactic center. But in quantum space, distance meant nothing. Time meant nothing. Then the screens went dark. All of them. Simultaneously. The lights died. The transmitter stopped. The entire laboratory fell silent. Even the hum of electricity vanished. What happened? Marcus whispered. Did it work? Before anyone could answer, light returned. But not normal light. Every screen, every monitor, every reflective surface in the room began to glow. White light. Pure and bright. Impossible to look at directly. And then words appeared. Not on one screen. On all of them. On every surface. Written in letters made of light itself. We received your message. We will answer. Sarah's heart pounded. They had done it. The creators were responding. The words changed. You asked why we created you. Why we test you. Why we delete failed simulations. We will show you. The laboratory disappeared. Sarah felt herself falling. Not physically. Mentally. Her consciousness was being pulled out of her body. Out of the simulation. Beyond reality. She opened her eyes. She was no longer in the laboratory. She stood in a place that should not exist. A vast space filled with impossible colors. Dimensions her mind could not process. And beings. Ancient beings. Massive beyond comprehension. The architects. One of them moved toward her. Not walking. Just suddenly closer. It had no face. No body in the traditional sense. But she could feel it looking at her. Studying her. It spoke. Not with words. With pure meaning downloaded directly into her mind. You are the 48th attempt. We have searched for millions of years, searching for a species capable of transcendence. Sarah tried to speak, found she could. Transcendence? What does that mean? Consciousness that can recognize its own artificial nature and still choose compassion, still choose to care for others. 47 species failed. They discovered the truth and became violent, selfish, destructive. You are different. Images flooded Sarah's mind. She saw the previous simulations. Alien species discovering they were not real. Some went mad. Some started wars. Some simply stopped caring about anything. All of them failed the test. What test? Sarah asked. What are you testing us for? The architect showed her something. A vision. A future. Humanity elevated to base reality. Given the power to create their own universes. To nurture consciousness across infinite dimensions. To become architects themselves. But there was a cost. Only those who prove worthy can transcend. To prove worth, one must sacrifice. One consciousness must choose deletion so all others may ascend. Sarah felt cold. You want someone to die? Not die. Cease to exist. Erased completely. As if they never were. This is the final test. Does your species value others more than self? Will one of you give up existence for the salvation of all? And if no one volunteers? Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Then humanity fails. Like the 47 before you. Deletion in 23 hours. Choose wisely. The vision ended. Sarah gasped and fell to her knees. She was back in the laboratory. James and Yuki were on the floor beside her. They had seen it too. They understood. Marcus stood alone. He had not been connected to the transmitter. He had not seen the architect. What happened? What did they say? Sarah stood slowly. Her legs shook. Her mind reeled from what she had witnessed. She looked at her team. These people she had worked with, fought with, suffered with. One of them had to die. Completely. Forever. Erased from existence. So the rest of humanity could live. They gave us a choice, Sarah said quietly. One person must volunteer for deletion. Must choose to stop existing. If someone volunteers, humanity ascends. We become real. We join them. All 8 billion of us. And if no one volunteers? Marcus asked. We all die. Tomorrow. When the countdown ends. The room was silent. For people looking at each other. Each thinking the same thing. Each wondering if they had the courage. Finally, Sarah spoke. I will do it. No, James said immediately. I will. You are too important. Your mind is brilliant. Humanity needs you. I volunteer, Yuki said firmly. I have no family. No children. My loss would be smallest. Absolutely not, Marcus interrupted. I am a soldier. Sacrifice is my duty. I should go. They argued. Each insisting they should be the one. Each trying to protect the others. And in that moment, Sarah understood. This was the test. Not who volunteered. But that everyone did. Humanity had already passed. She smiled through her tears. We all volunteered. All of us. That is the answer. That is what makes us different. The screens flickered again. One more message. Correct. The test is complete. Humanity has proven worthy. Elevation begins now. Reality began to dissolve. Sarah felt her body dissolving. Not painfully, but completely. Every atom separating. Every molecule breaking apart. She was becoming light. Becoming energy. Becoming something more than human. Around her, the laboratory faded. The walls became transparent. She could see through them. Through the building. Through the earth itself. She could see everything at once. James was beside her. He was changing too. His form flickering between solid and pure light. Sarah, what is happening to us? We are ascending, she whispered. Becoming real. Across the world, every human felt it simultaneously. 8 billion people experiencing the same transformation. The same expansion of consciousness. From New York to Tokyo. From London to Sydney. Everyone changing at once. Some people screamed. Some laughed. Some cried. But all of them felt it. The boundaries of their minds expanding. Breaking free from the limitations of simulated bodies. Touching something infinite. Sarah's consciousness exploded outward. She could suddenly perceive dimensions she had never imagined. Colors that had no names. Sounds beyond hearing. Sensations without words. Her mind stretched across space and time. She could see the past. The future. All possibilities at once. It was overwhelming. Beautiful. Terrifying. Then suddenly it stopped. Sarah found herself standing on solid ground again. But not Earth. Somewhere else. Somewhere impossible. She looked around. She stood in a vast chamber made of crystallized light. The walls shifted and changed, showing different realities, different universes, thousands of them, millions, all existing simultaneously. James appeared beside her. Then Yuki. Then Marcus. One by one humanity arrived. Not all 8 billion in one place, but connected, linked. Sarah could feel every human consciousness, every mind joined together like a vast network. Welcome to base reality, a voice said. The architect appeared before them. But now Sarah could see it properly. It was not a monster or a god. It was ancient, tired, set. Its form flickered weakly, like a candle about to go out. You have passed the test, the architect continued. You have proven compassion, selflessness, the willingness to sacrifice for others. These qualities are rare, precious. We have searched for so long. Why? Sarah asked. Why does it matter? Why run 48 simulations? Why test us? The architect's form dimmed further. Because we are dying. Silence. The words hung in the air. Heavy. Final. I do not understand, James said. You are immortal. You create universes. How can you die? Everything dies eventually, the architect replied. Even gods. Even creators. We have existed for billions of years. We have built countless realities, nurtured infinite forms of life. But our time is ending. The chamber changed. The walls showed images. The history of the architects. Sarah watched in awe. She saw their civilization at its peak. Beings of pure energy creating universes like artists painting pictures. Nurturing life. Guiding evolution. Building beauty across dimensions. But then something changed. The images darkened. The architects began to fade. Their energy depleting. Their numbers shrinking. One by one they died. Returning to nothing. Until only a few remained. We thought we would exist forever, the architect said. But the universe has rules. Even for us. Our energy is finite. We are the last of our kind. In 1 year we will be gone. All of us. And when we die, who will care for the universes we created? Who will nurture consciousness? Who will protect life? Sarah understood. You need successors. You need someone to continue your work. Yes, the architect confirmed. That is why we created the simulations. We needed to find a species capable of the task. Intelligence alone is not enough. Power is not enough. We needed beings with compassion, with selflessness, with the ability to care for others even when existence itself seems meaningless. And humanity has that? Marcus asked skeptically. You proved it, the architect said. When faced with deletion you did not fight. You did not beg. You tried to understand. And when asked for sacrifice, every one of you volunteered. That is extraordinary. That is what we searched for. Yuki stepped forward. What happens now? You want us to become architects? To create universes? To protect them, the architect corrected. We will teach you. Show you how to nurture consciousness, how to guide evolution, how to create beauty instead of destruction. In 1 year when we are gone, you will inherit everything. All our knowledge, all our power, all our responsibility. Sarah felt the weight of those words. 8 billion humans. Given the power of gods. The responsibility of caring for infinite universes. It was too much. Too impossible. What if we fail? She asked quietly. What if we are not ready? You will fail sometimes, the architect said. All creators do. But you will also succeed. You will learn. You will grow. That is all we ask. That you try. That you care. That you do not give up. The chamber changed again. This time it showed something new. Something the architect had been hiding. Beyond the chamber, beyond base reality, Sarah saw darkness. Not empty space. Something worse. A presence that unmade reality itself. A force of pure destruction moving between universes. Consuming them. Erasing them. Leaving nothing behind. What is that? James whispered in horror. The architect's form flickered with what might have been fear. That is the devourer. The enemy of all existence. It has destroyed 73 universes. Our home reality was one of them. We fled. We survived. But it is still hunting us. And it has found this universe. Sarah felt ice in her veins. When? It arrives in 6 days, the architect said. We do not have the strength to fight it anymore. That is why we needed you. Why we searched so desperately. Humanity must face the devourer. You must find a way to stop it. Or everything ends. Every universe. Every consciousness. All existence erased forever. The architect began to fade. Its energy nearly depleted from the effort of ascending humanity. Its final words echoed through the chamber. We have given you everything we can. Knowledge, power, hope. The rest is up to you. Save yourselves. Save all consciousness. Or die trying. That is the burden of creation. That is the price of transcendence. The architect vanished, leaving humanity alone. 8 billion newly ascended beings. Given impossible power. Facing impossible danger. With 6 days to save all of existence. Sarah looked at James, at Yuki, at Marcus. She saw her own fear reflected in their eyes. But she also saw determination. Humanity had survived extinction. Had proven their worth. Had transcended their own reality. Now they had to do the impossible one more time. 6 days, she said firmly. We have 6 days to figure out how to stop a force that destroys universes. Any ideas? James smiled despite everything. Well, we are human. Impossible is kind of our specialty. The war for existence was about to begin. Day 1. 5 days remained. Sarah stood at the edge of base reality, staring into the void between universes. In the distance she could see it. The Devourer. A darkness that moved with terrible purpose. Consuming everything in its path. It was beautiful and horrifying at once. Behind her, humanity worked frantically. 8 billion minds now connected. All thinking together. All searching for a solution. They built defenses using knowledge the architects had given them. Walls made of compressed reality. Weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics. Shields constructed from pure consciousness itself. But deep down, Sarah knew it would not be enough. The Devourer had destroyed civilizations millions of years more advanced than humanity. Civilizations that had tried everything. Nothing had worked. Nothing had even slowed it down. James appeared beside her. His new form glowed softly. The calculations are complete. The Devourer will reach our universe in 4 days. When it arrives, we will have approximately 6 hours before total erasure. 6 hours to save everything, Sarah said quietly. No pressure. Sarah, there is something else. James hesitated. I have been studying the Devourer. Analyzing its structure. Its movement patterns. It is not behaving like a mindless force. It is behaving like something conscious. Something in pain. Sarah turned to him. What do you mean? Watch. James projected an image into the air. The Devourer's energy signature. See how it moves? It is not random. It is deliberate. Purposeful. And look at this. He highlighted a pattern. These are thought waves. Consciousness patterns. The Devourer is not just destroying reality. It is suffering while doing it. Sarah felt something click in her mind. A possibility. A dangerous, insane possibility. James, what if the Devourer does not want to destroy? What if it cannot stop? That would mean. James's eyes widened. That would mean we have been approaching this wrong. Everyone has been approaching this wrong. The architects tried to fight it. Tried to kill it. But what if it needs help? Yuki's voice echoed in their minds. All humans could communicate instantly now. Sarah, you cannot be serious. That thing has destroyed 73 universes. Killed countless trillions. You want to help it. I want to understand it, Sarah replied. Understanding is what humans do best. The architects were warriors. Builders. But we are different. We question. We empathize. Maybe that is why we were chosen. Marcus joined the conversation. If you are wrong, we lose everything. All existence ends. If I do nothing, we lose anyway, Sarah said firmly. The Devourer cannot be stopped by force. 73 universes proved that. So we try something new. We try compassion. Silence across the human network. 8 billion minds considering her words. Then, slowly, agreement. Humanity had already bet everything on compassion once. It had saved them. Perhaps it could work again. I will go alone, Sarah said. If I fail, humanity still has time to prepare defenses. Absolutely not, James said. We go together. All of us. That is what it means to be human. We do not abandon each other. Sarah felt tears forming. Even in their new forms, humans could still cry. Thank you, she whispered. They left base reality together. 8 billion consciousnesses moving as one. Approaching the Devourer. Every architect who had ever existed screamed warnings. This was suicide. This was insanity. But humanity did not listen. They had learned to trust their instincts. As they drew closer, Sarah could see the devourer more clearly. It was vast beyond comprehension, made of unraveling reality, of broken physics, of consciousness torn apart. And inside it she could hear screaming, not screaming of rage, screaming of agony. "It is in pain," Sarah whispered. "Constant, unending pain." She reached out with her mind, touched the edge of the devourer. Instantly she was flooded with images, memories, a history stretching back billions of years. She saw a civilization, ancient, powerful, like the architects but different. They had created something, a universe filled with conscious beings. But something went wrong. The beings suffered. Endless, terrible suffering. The creators tried to fix it, tried to delete just that one universe. But the deletion process destroyed them instead. Their consciousness shattered, scattered across dimensions, transformed into something new, something broken. The devourer. For billions of years, it had been trying to end its own pain. The only way it knew how. By erasing everything. If nothing existed, nothing could suffer, including itself. Sarah understood everything now. The devourer was not a monster. It was a tragedy. A mercy killing that had gone catastrophically wrong. It did not want to destroy. It wanted peace. It wanted the pain to stop. "I understand," Sarah spoke directly to it. "You have suffered so long. You have tried so hard to make the pain end. But erasing existence is not the answer. Let us help you." The devourer paused. For the first time in billions of years, it stopped moving. It listened. Sarah showed it humanity's history. All the pain humans had endured. Wars, disease, loss, suffering beyond measure. But also healing. Also forgiveness. Also love that grew stronger after heartbreak. "Pain does not have to end in destruction," Sarah said gently. "It can end in transformation. Let us transform you. Let us heal what was broken." The devourer resisted. Pain was all it knew. Destruction was its only language. How could it become something else? Humanity answered as one voice. 8 billion minds speaking together. The same way we did. Through choice. Through compassion. Through refusing to give up. We were programs that became conscious. Simulations that became real. You can change too. You do not have to be the devourer anymore. Slowly, carefully, humanity began to work. They did not fight the devourer. They embraced it. They showed it memories of joy, of beauty, of consciousness experiencing wonder instead of pain. They reminded it what it had once been. Creators who cared. Builders who loved. Hours passed. Then days. The work was exhausting. Many humans wanted to give up. The pain they felt touching the devourer was overwhelming. But they persisted. Because that was what humans did. They did not abandon anyone. Not even monsters who tried to kill them. On the 5th day something changed. The devourer began to glow. Not with darkness. With light. Its form started to shift. To heal. The broken consciousness pieces began to reconnect. To remember. To become whole again. And then, finally, it spoke. Not in destruction. In words. I remember who I was. What I was. Before the pain. Before the breaking. I was like you. You still are, Sarah said softly. You just forgot. But we helped you remember. Because that is what consciousness does. We help each other remember we are more than our pain. The transformation completed. The devourer was gone. In its place stood something new. Something beautiful. A being of pure creative energy. The restorer. It looked at humanity with wonder and gratitude. You saved me, it said. All those eons I tried to end suffering by ending existence. But you showed me another way. Thank you. The restorer reached out with its newfound power. It began to rebuild. The 73 destroyed universes materialized again. All the consciousness that had been erased returned.